Okay, I think I'm doing this. I'm not sure. Okay, I think I'm live. Technical difficulties here. Sorry about that, guys. Not sure if you can hear me. Hopefully you can. If not, it's getting recorded and it'll get uploaded eventually. So sorry about that. So let me talk about what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be doing another one of the celebration stamp sets. It is called, actually I'm going to use a couple of them. The Detailed Dogwood, which is absolutely beautiful. I mean, this image is just gorgeous. And then I partnered it up with some of the verses from Softly Sophisticated. So that's pretty, two freebies, guys. Lots of freebie stuff in celebration here this year, right? So let me show you the project. So I have two cards. I'm going to turn this light down so maybe it doesn't glare so much. That's better. Okay, so I have two really nice cards, color coordinated, and then this cute little treat box that we're going to be making. So that'll be fun, right? All right, let's get started with this one here. We set that off to the side. All right, so I have Pool Party. So this is in Pool Party and Lemon Lolly. I know this color just it's getting dusky here, so my lighting is just like crazy here, right? But these are the parts and pieces that I'm using, and I also brought in a couple of different dies and embossing folders. So the embossing folder that we're going to be using is part of that Softly Sophisticated. But I also brought in this detailed. Oh, geez. Brain fart. I'm so flustered from having that live go yucky on me. Everyday Detail dies. And we used these, I think, last week or the week before in my live too. But you get these really nice little outliney with little dots. So you get some really, really cool little effects on this. I think this is going to be one of my favorite go-tos for having some focal points. So those are the dies that one of the sets of dies I'm using. So again, this is Pool Party paper, and I'm just going to fold it in half and give it a nice score line. You could score this at 4 1/4. This is an 8.5 by 5.5 piece of cardstock, Pool Party cardstock. If you score it at 4 1/4, you'll create that crease all on your own there for you. And then I'm going to add a piece of Lemon Lolly cardstock. Okay, put some tape on there. And I believe this is 5 by 3 3/4. Okay. And then I have a piece of basic white that I've embossed with the Softly Sophisticated folder that is also free during celebration, which by the way ends February 29th, 2024, in case this is a video that you have come across in the future. Leap year, so you get an extra bonus day of celebration. So I've already pre-embossed that for you. I didn't think you needed to watch me do that. If you don't know how to use the Stampin' Cut and Emboss, I have a whole separate video on that. So if you need to know how to use that, run over there and get that video. Okay, so this is the brain, man, Karen, make your brain work. So this is what that detailed die cut out. So got this nice little rectangle with these little tiny little circles all the way around it. So it gives a little bit of character. You know me, I like to have character on my cards. And we're going to start with using that bold image of the dogwood flowers, and I'm going to use gray granite. Okay, let's get that inked up. So we're just going to kind of have like a lighter outground. Typically I would use, Memento, but I'm just going to use the regular classic and the gray. Let's just put it right about, that looks good. Just want to, ooh, that got really dark. I just re-inked this. Well, we're going to go with it, aren't we, guys? They'll all look different, but they'll all look great, right? And for this, I'm going to be using some blends. Let me get that out of my way so I don't wear it. We're going to be using some blends. I have Old Olive, Pecan Pie, and Daffodil Delight. And I'm going to start with the leaves just because I want that to dry a little bit. So I'm going to get the bullet point end in here, and I'm just going to add some dark on these leaves just to get some color going in them. And then we'll come back with the light and color that in. I'm just trying to get some actual color in the edges, and then we'll do some blending. And I'm not making like straight lines. If you noticed, I'm kind of keeping it so that it's a little bit zigzaggy. They tend to blend a little bit better when you do that. Okay, and I'm just gonna take my light color and go over the top of it. I know my holes are just right through there, but that's okay. It's part of the character, right? Get some of this colored in here. And I'm working in kind of like little tiny little baby circles, and it helps pull those two colors together. So you get that nice watercolory shaded look to your leaves. So you don't have like just a solid, one solid color. It kind of blends and fades in and out with each other. So it's kind of like gets dark and fades in. You get that nice, pretty soft look to it. So even though I did that, the alcohol ink tends to make the other stuff that's already dried a little bit. It kind of re-moistens it so it starts to work across the paper. You get a nice little color there. Big leaves are a little easier, aren't they? And again, that little like circles really seems to pull those colors together and bleed them out softly so you don't have harsh lines. A little bit here on this leaf. Typically I wouldn't go this fast, but I don't want to have you guys, you'd think I would have had this all done and just said, oh, and by the way, magic of TV, and here's the finished product. But sometimes you guys want to know how I color. I know you do watch that every now and then. All right, so let's see. Let me do the yellow. I'm going to start with the dark. I'm going to use the brush end on this. And we're going to just get some color in the center and maybe some highlight points here and there. The stamped image is great for showing you where to put kind of like detail. So you've got, you know, a little bit of a cheater going on here, where it really shows you where you can add some color in here. Get it down in the middle like that. I think I was supposed to add some, that's all right, that's good. And then we'll get some up here too. And some on the top of that. And then I'll come back in with the light and do the exact same thing where I just give it like little circles, and you'll see that dark kind of bleed together with the light, and it won't end up in one solid color. It'll be kind of variegated. Get that all done. I just re-inked that ink pad, so the intention on this was to have the background be a little bit non-existent. Smoky slate works great for that too. Sahara sand. Something that's almost non-existent but still gives you the outline of where you want to color. Okay. Couple more petals here. So what's happening here is the center, and where I had put the dark, has some highlighting in it. So you don't have a solid. So you have like some lights and darks going on there, right? And then I think I want to grab, if I can find it quick enough. I'm just going to add a little bit of pink in the middle, but what's this one? light pumpkin pie. That should work. I just want a little bit of color in the middle here. Just a little bit in the middle like that. That works. All right, set those aside. And then this I'm going to add onto a piece of the stippled rose DSP, which this is also part of the celebration offering. Softly stippled. I mean, look at this paper. Isn't that gorgeous? Just the color combination. Isn't that beautiful? And then, of course, the flip side of these have a whole different color combination. It's more muted, some grays and soft blues. And again, you get a little bit of that wild wheat in there. But I think these are just absolutely gorgeous. So I picked this pool party piece here. And we are going to attach those two together. Okay, put that like right about there. All right, and this I'm going to put up on dimensionals. Did you think I was going to not use any? Of course not. I always use dimensionals. You guys know that. That's just, you know, that's what makes the wow. That's what takes it up a notch for you guys. Simple, easy, inexpensive. Okay, we'll put that right in the middle of that one so we get a little bit of elevation, a little bit of depth to my card. And then ribbon. This is also a celebration offering, so this is another free product that you can earn. And you know me and a bow. I have hair tickling my face. All right, so we'll do a cute little bow here. Oh, that one kind of threw me for a loop there. Okay, so when I do my bows, again, once I do my 2 loops, I hold the center because I want to make sure that my ribbon stays as flat as possible. And then it also lays a little nicer on the card. But it makes it so that you don't have the post office barking at you about thickness of your card. It lays flatter, so it'll go through the mail super easy. All right, get the glue dot out here. And again, I put my ribbon to the glue dot. I don't pick up the glue dot and add it to the ribbon. Put that, oh, you know what I forgot to do? How about if I finish coloring this? Get some of this pecan in here. That would have helped, right? Got like little, got the stem. I didn't get that colored in there. Just putting some dots along this. See, even though it's on the card, I'm still going to do it. How many of you have like created something and then had to go back and go, oh geez, I messed that up, totally forgot to do that. And then you end up taking your card apart and putting it back together. How many of you use that product called Undo? It is fabulous for getting adhesive pieces taken apart. All right, so let's get that together here. Get that back on there. That looks a little better with that extra dark in there. All right, and then let's get a nice little greeting. And for that, like I said, I used the Softly Sophisticated stamp set. And I'm gonna grab the Hello There stamp and back with the gray granite also. And get that inked up. And boom. Yay, it worked. Let me clean that before I wear it. Because you know I will, because I need that block back. Clean that off a little bit. Put it back where it belongs. So I don't lose it. Close that up because you know what's going to happen. My arm will be in it for sure. And then I'm just gonna angle this. Makes for an easy little banner. And grab a dimensional for that one too, or a couple of them actually. Some dimensionals on those. And we'll just set that off. I'm just going to go down. You know what? I'm going to put it up here because of the angle that I actually stamped that card at. So because I had just the twist of the way that I had laid the flowers on the card, I'm going to put my greeting up here instead of down here so that we can see the whole flower. I kind of like this one better, quite honestly. And then another free celebration item. We have loads of freebies on this stuff here today. These are the opaque faceted gems. I'm going to take my pick tool and, oh, you gotta flip it around. Have you guys seen this? This will take your pick. So it comes with a little spatula and a little piercing tool. And then of course this end is for, picking up little tiny pieces of paper, moving them around. But I want the spatula end here. And get a couple of these little opaques, and I'm going to put them in the middle of my flower just to give it a little bit more depth. Well, how's that? I like it. I don't know about you, but I do. Feel free to comment, like. I love reading your guys' comments. They are amazing. I love, love, love for the suggestions, alternative ideas, what you'd like to see me make, things that if you have questions, feel free to leave your question in there. I'll certainly answer your questions for you. Subscribe. We all like subscribing, right? Because then you'll get notified when I have stuff going on. All right, so the next card, same color combination. Again, an 8.5 by 11 by 8.5 by 11 piece of paper cut in half, so it's 5.5 by 8.5. I'm folding it in half. You can score it at 4.25, which would give you your seam there. I still would use a bone folder to give it a nice crisp edge. And for this one, again, I'm going to use the same stamp set, but this time I'm going to use Memento Black. It gives it just a little bit more of a defined image. And typically this is the ink that you would use with the blends, but I'm also going to put this off the paper just a little bit. I don't want it to be quite all the way on here. I'm going to go about like that. I'm going to let it kind of run off and just ink up my table while I'm at it. You'd think I would get some piercing mat, a little piece of plastic there. And again, the same thing I'm going to do here as I did with the other one. We'll add some dark color. I'm just kind of randomly, I kind of start at the bottom because, leaves are usually a little darker at the bottom than they are at the top. Kind of like follow what nature gives me. Just adding some dark ink. And this is an alcohol ink again. So you get, I get this little leaf here. And as you can see, these are a little darker. And where the stamp actually has like these little dashes where the image already has them is a good indication of where you would want to add the dark color. And then get the light and go over that. And again, circular motions help pull those two colors together and dissipate the edge, the line that might have been created with the way you drew it on there. So you get a little bit more shading happening. And this one in the middle. So is everybody liking all of the celebration stuff so far this year? I don't know if you've noticed or if you've gotten my email, but there was several additional items from the large annual catalog added to the selection. So there was a couple stamp sets and some kits and papers. So there's a few extra items. You can find those online at stampinup.com, or you can go to my stampersclub.com website and find the link for it there. That's also where you would want to go if you want to get my emails, if you're not getting them yet. If you want to subscribe to my email list, I'll keep you going with some tips and ideas. And I have a retreat coming up. So if you're interested in a weekend retreat that has tons and tons and tons of spoiling going on, lots and lots of included make and takes, a pretty nice goodie bag. So you get some nice products too. I have that coming up in April, weekend of April 12th, whatever the dates are around that. So I still have a few spots left, not a ton, but I do have a few spots left. So feel free to check that out also. It's on the information's both on my Facebook page, Stampers Club Facebook page, along with my website, stampersclub.com. Either one has the information on there. Let's get some on the edges on this one too. And again, I'm just kind of like adding where the stamped image already has some defined detail in the imaging. That's a good guideline for where nature would have these color, the shadings, the darker areas. I'm not an artist. I'm guessing that many of you are also not artists. So this is, kind of an easy way to get your feet wet. Play with some products that give you some assistance in finding that artist in you. I do like to color. I know some people don't. That's why we have bold images too. But I find this a little bit relaxing. The blends are absolutely the way to go with that, because they really take, I'm not going to do that with the smaller one. They really take the pressure off in creating, like watercoloring. You would need you got to have a little bit more control with where you add your colors and how dark you get them. It depends on how much water you do and don't use. I'm going to use this little inside leaf with the bullet point. So yes, the blends also, by the way, have two tips, a brush and a bullet tip. So you can do these little fine little narrow areas and not go outside of the line. You get a little more detail here. Okay, and again, I'm going to grab the light pumpkin pie and get these little centers here. They're too small to blend. There's not enough there to bother blending. And this time, I won't forget my branches. And I'm just adding like some dots along here because I don't want it to be all 100% dark. And then when I come back in with the light pumpkin pie, it will blend that. And you'll get a little bit more shading going on. Sorry about that. I thought I had that on Do Not Disturb. My brother-in-law and sister-in-law just left. They were visiting here in Florida. So I thought, man, it looked like might have been my husband calling. He knows I'm busy, but he obviously forgot. All right, I'm going to come back with that gray granite again. Lost it on my table. I don't know how I lose stuff right on my table, but I do. Somehow, some way, I actually lose it. All right, I'm just going to add a couple of little elements to this. So this stamp set's got like a little bit of eclectic stuff. So I'm just going to add, just a little element there. I'll give a little element like maybe right here. Gives it just a little vintagey feel to it, huh? And then let's close that up. All right, so this I'm going to add to a piece of the lemon lolly. So put that there. And then I'm going to get my ribbon. And I do tend to go right around the card. I don't find that I save a whole lot of ribbon by cutting that little bit of piece. I mean, this is probably only a 3.5 inch wide piece anyway. So by the time I cut it and tape it, I'm saving, what, an inch of ribbon? It's easier to manhandle when I do it in this direction anyway. So I'm going to just do this just like you tie your shoes. And I do want to try to keep my ribbon as flat in direction as possible. I don't want to fold it over anywhere, because again, that helps so that you don't have so much bulk. And I hold the center and pull on the tails. And I just work that back and forth until I get the size that I want. And that looks about right. Okay, trim those little tails. Get my card base out, and then again I did another piece of that pretty linen paper from the Stippled Rose Designer Series paper. Lost my tape too right in the middle. I don't know how many of you guys have done that, but I certainly just did it. All right, so this I'm going to put across, and did I cut this wrong? I sure did. I cut that wrong. Oh well, we're going to do it just like this because that's what's cut and ready. We're going to go just down the bottom. It'll all still look good, I'm sure. There are no mistakes in paper crafting. There is only opportunity for embellishment. So everyone is going to look unique and handmade because it is. So if they're not identical, that's a good thing. We're all individuals, right? I think all of our cards should be individuals then. All right, and then this, I'm going to add over the top of that. Kind of see if I can get this in the right spot there, centered. My eyes don't always see like perfectly straight. And then this is a piece of basic white cardstock that I pre-cut out here for you with my all new favorite dies, the Thoughtful Expression dies. I just love these elements for layering. They're absolutely, the little stitching around them. I don't know if you caught the little stitching. Can you see that? See if I can get out there, a little bit of stitching around them. They're just so elegant. And again, I'm going to grab a stamp out of the Softly Sophisticated stamp set. Get that off there. I want the You're in My Thoughts. There we go. You're in My Thoughts. Ooh, it almost doesn't fit on that block. And that also I'm going to stamp in the gray granite. Now this is a clear stamp, so I can certainly stamp after I've die cut. Typically, you know, I tell you to die cut first. And did you notice this is on my block crooked? Intentionally. I have astigmatism in my eyes, so I don't necessarily see level. This actually helps me not pay attention to the edges when I'm trying to stamp onto something, and I actually get it to be straighter. So I can not really, my eye doesn't get distracted by the edges of the block. A little bit of a shortcut. All right, that's that one. And this I am also going to put on dimensionals. One there, and let's just do one in the center because it's going to kind of hang off a little bit. And I'm just going to put it, see, I didn't, again, my image was a little bit, oh, I didn't quite get that. So guess where this is going to go? It's going to just kind of grab right over. I'm going to slide this down just a little bit. That's going to kind of cover part of that up so that you don't even know that I kind of did a little boo-boo stamping there. Perfect. Okay. So again, this one I went all the way to the edge. This one I messed up on my measuring when I cut, but it still looks just as nice. It almost looks like it's supposed to be that way. Well, it is because that's why I glued it down, right? So, and again, we need some more of these cute little gems. because, you know, you got to bling, right? Got to have bling, 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 bling. And we'll get a couple of these. Let's see, I want a larger one here. I'm going to do this a little bit different here because just, again, the way I stamped it. And I'll grab one here and a second one up there. There. See, they don't all have to match. They can be in different places. And I lost the end of this. There it is. There we go. Set those aside. All right, so that's those ones. And then for the pièce de résistance is the cute little candy box. This is just a little triangle box. And you get a couple little Hershey Kisses in there, or some Jelly Bellies or something like that. So just a cute little, just a little something something for somebody, right? So let me show you how I made that. Get rid of these markers. All right, so rid of some of the garbage. So what I had started out with here was a piece of 5 by 8.5 cardstock. Okay, so it's 5 by 8.5. Get my paper cutter here, and I'm going to score this in this direction at 2 inches and 4 inches. And remember, you're going to want to use your lighter colored blade if you have a cutter that has that. So this is 2 inches and 4 inches. Then I'm going to turn it 90 degrees, and I'm going to do it at 2, 4, 6, and I need to do it in 8, but since this is 8.5, it's easier for me to go back to the 1/2 inch on this side. So it's basically the same thing. 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay. Now what I want to do is, for on this top edge, I want to go in at 1 inch, and I'm only going to score down to this first score line. So I'm just going to come down to the first 1 inch score line there. So that's at 1 inch and at 5 inches. And just, again, just down to that score line. Okay. So then next, what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to do some score lines on an angle where I just did those, So I'm going to actually get a pencil and draw on this for you. So I just did this 1 inch down here to this score line. And then there's one here also, okay? So what I'm going to want to do is get an angle here and here and here and here. Now we're not going to see this. I fold this in so we can't see it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on my, there's a, right where this groove is here. So I'm going to just kind of look through and line that up with where that spot works along with where the corner is down here. Okay. And I'm going to score down to that corner. Okay. And it's okay if you go across that. We're going to cut that part off anyway. And then you're going to flip it and do it the other way. And again, I can see it through there and through there. I think I got that one. Well, there we go. That's a little off. The bright lights are shining on my paper. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this one. There to there. And then flip it the other direction. And I want it just from the edge to that little junction point there. Okay. All right. So then we're going to cut off this corner. and skip a spot. And I'm going to cut that one off. And we're going to get rid of this corner here. And then we're going to need to slice these up. Along the bottom edge. Okay. So now I did take my punch that has the triple detail punch, I think it's called. So I grabbed this punch and I used this little edge here. And I just kind of folded it over and put it in there. In all the way, yep. And did a little punch there. And then I did the other side also. I just wanted to give it a little bit of pizzazz. All right, so get all the way in there. And then I just want to give it a little bit of detail on that little edge there. You could use a quarter rounder or any other little punch that gives you a little detail. Okay, so since I drew on that side, I'm going to fold this against itself. I typically would do it the other way, but that's okay. I normally fold into the raised bump, not the depressed line. But since I drew on that, we're gonna do it the other way. All right, so I'm gonna do a little burnishing on my score lines here. Help myself out a little bit. And then the same with these. Let's fold these up. And this one. And this one. Okay. So to glue this together, I'm going to use my favorite green glue. This is liquid glue, multi-purpose glue. Fold that over onto itself so it lines up. It looks good. The liquid glue, you can use tear and tape. The liquid glue is really strong, dries fairly quickly, so a little bit goes a long way. And then I want to fold these in. Do the same thing. I just put a little bit of glue there just to hold that down a little bit. Okay, and then this one. A little goes a long way on this glue. Push that down in there. Okay. And then these little score lines, they will fold in here and here. Okay. And then I gotta get a piece of that designer paper. So I'm going to put a little piece of designer paper on the front here. And that is a 1 7/8 by 1 7/8. Let me get that real quick because I didn't cut that either. So 1 7/8 by 1 7/8. A cute little, just a little something to give it a little more texture when you look at the front. So it's just a little piece. And I can use liquid glue on that too. Okay. And we're just going to put that on the front, just for a little added texture. You can put it on the back also if you want. And then this is going to fold over right onto itself, so you get this little triangle. And I'm going to use some ribbon and some silver cording. So I'm going to get some silver cording. Let me just get a piece of that. And then the ribbon, just go around it here. So let me cut a piece of that off too. Right about there. Now you could tape this to the bottom if you wanted. I did not. I just kind of hung on to it. So this might be a little more of a challenge on camera. Because typically this would be like between my knees or something. We'll get this tied on there. All right, so I just knotted it around there. And I'm going to make a bow just like I'm tying my shoelaces. Loop and go around and pull it in. And again, same thing, I'll kind of hold the center so that it doesn't loosen up too much. And then pull those taut. There we go. All right, and then to decorate the front of it, I used some lemon lolly paper, and again, the same die set, the detailed dies, and then I'm going to use a couple more images here. Use some mossy meadow. I need a piece of scrap paper here for this one, or it's going to have mossy meadow ink all over my table. And this is just going to get kind of like it like that. We're just going to put a little bit of leaves across there. Okay. And then I need Pool Party with the little flower. Now that, again, it matches up with the punch, if I can find it on my table. It has gone MIA, I think. There it is. Nope. Yep. So it goes with the punch, the builder punch here. So we're going to stamp this in Pool Party on a piece of basic white cardstock. And then the best way to do the punches is upside down so that you can lay them on the table too. You don't have to actually hold them. So if you have arthritis, this is a nice style punch for that. And I'm just going to line that up and push down. So if you have arthritis in your hands or wrist, or if you can use your arm too, if you have an issue holding these. So these are a nice style for that. All right, so this is going to go on. I think I'm going to do this on dimensionals. Do I want to do that? Yeah, I think I'm going to do this on a dimensional. Why not? It's 3D, right? It's three-dimensional. Let's make it three-dimensional. I'm just going to put one on there. That's all you need. It's a little piece. Put that in the middle. And then I'm going to need, let me get to minis. I could use one big one on that flower in the middle. Okay. Put that off to the edge here. Like right about there. Give it a little flower. And of course I want to have a flower center, which these are awesome for. And we'll get a flower center here. Get that right in the middle. Just like that. Perfect. All right, so we got that going, and then I'm going to put this right on the front here, but I want to make sure that my dimensionals are on the two sides. So I'm going to kind of lay that down and add a dimensional on that side, and then that way it'll span that ribbon. And put that right on there. So got a little silver bow, little Pool Party ribbon. I love this ruched ribbon. And a cute little treat box for someone. So like I said, I love comments. like it, comment on it, send me a request for things that you want me to see you make. Let me change my lighting here a little bit and get you back where I can talk to you. There we go. Okay, so yeah, I would love to hear from you guys. If you have questions on how I did anything, feel free to ask. I will have a short tutorial on this, and I'll actually do maybe a diagram on that box, and that'll be on my blog in a day or two. So give me a couple days to get all that drawn up and get it posted. So keep watch over there at www.stampersclub.com. And then you'll get a little tutorial with the card measurements and things like that on there too. So I hope you liked today's projects with the detailed dogwood and the softly sophisticated stamp set. Let me pull those back in. Let me switch that camera back down real quick just to show you again what I did. So we have the detailed dogwood with the greetings came out of softly sophisticated, and then this cute little triangle box. Right? So again, questions, comments, love them, subscribe, like, all that fun stuff that we do here on YouTube. And you guys have a awesome weekend. It is Friday night, so you hopefully you're home and you're able to watch, and you're going to have something fun to do afterwards. Hopefully my husband gets home pretty soon, and maybe we'll go for a little golf cart ride or something. Just a little tour around the neighborhood. We do that sometimes. But you guys have a good weekend. See you later. Bye now.